Hello everyone, my name is Ziki Zhang. I come from China. I am a current graduate student in the Department of Communication Studies at Fort Hays State University in the United States. It is my pleasure to get this opportunity to share my research paper with everyone. And the topic area is about emotional appeals in commercials affect purchasing behaviors. Because I am interested in the advertising and marketing area, so I applied the persuasion theory into this study and to analyze the motivations for both advertisers and the consumers. The purpose of this study is to consider the emotional connections in commercials affect consumers' behaviors. The hypothesis of this study is TV commercials that involve emotional connections can more successfully affect consumers' behaviors than those without emotional connections. Because the development of the technologies, there are more opportunities for consumers to diverse access to information sources. There are different commercials for similar items, such as milk powders or the laptops. Consumers watch those commercials to select products to satisfy their requirements. We may wonder why certain commercials appeal to customers and how they affect consumers' behaviors. In this study, by using the Engel-Kollat-Blackwell model, which is also called EKB, it is easy to focus on the hierarchy of needs at a psychological level and on the channels of the commercial. This study examines how commercials with emotional appeals affect consumers' purchasing behaviors, which will benefit for advertisers to know about customers' motivations. It will also benefit for customers to know about what kind of factors impact them to make choices. In this study, it includes 4 elements of emotional appeals, which are warmth, personality, role model, and positive feelings. And when talking about the personality, Likert, Betra, and Myers in 1992 identified 4 elements that about a brand's personality. They are endorser, user imagery, executional elements, and consistency. In the study, I applied those 4 elements to a commercial. It was made by Tencent Company. Tencent Company is a famous chatting software company in China. So by analyzing this successful commercial, it illustrates how it touched audience heart, which is a good example to show everybody and applied in this study. Emotional connections also are used in political commercials and the presidential debates. Shell's and McDonald's 1987 report indicated that the candidate that gets too emotional at the wrong times or for no apparent reason loses points. If you get emotional for the right reason, meaning you are responding very fervently to an attack or you feel very deeply, you get points. It is clear to see it is important for the election campaigns to take citizens' needs, expectations, and interests into considerations in order to attract voters, influence their behaviors, and obtain favorable outcomes. After that, election campaigns, they can utilize the emotional appeals to influence the public. So in this study, there were 82 participants. They were students at a centrally located university in the United States. The participation is anonymous and voluntary, and the age range of the students are from 18 to 28 years old. based on the Conversational Effectiveness Scale, which was devised by Spitzberg and Phelps in 1982. I made 10-item questions to examine whether the commercials with emotional appeals are more effective in influencing consumers than those without emotional appeals. As the result showed, the mean of commercials with emotional appeals was 26.5, with a standard deviation of 5.2. The mean of commercials without emotional appeals was 20.77, with a standard deviation of 9.16. Therefore, commercials with emotional appeals are more effectively influence consumers' behaviors than commercials without emotional connections. By using the t-test, the two variables did produce a statistically significant difference. Therefore, the hypothesis was supported. Now let's talk about the discussion part of this study. The research applied to this study has several limitations. Nobody is perfect, just like this research applied to this study has several limitations. In this study, the investigation didn't mention the participants' genders. But as you know, gender was very important factors to be considered because males and females, they may have different viewpoints, which may affect the results. What's more, the study didn't clearly define the emotional appeals. The effects of the participants' genders need to be considered in the future study. Furthermore, the future studies could use different research methods such as surveys or experiments. In conclusion, the result of this study explains that commercials with emotional appeals effectively influence consumers' purchasing behaviors. Therefore, it is important and necessary for both customers and advertisers to study the influencing factors on commercials. Just like what I mentioned about, for advertisers, they will know about motivations of customers well. For customers, they will learn more about what kind of elements affect their purchasing behaviors, and they may make better choices in the future. This is the general idea about my research paper, so if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Thank you for listening.